Thanks a lot for humiliating me yesterday, old lady. You've really done it this time. I haven't forgiven you in the slightest. You ruined everything yet again.
What did I do yesterday exactly?
Don't mess with me. You know exactly what you did. I'm talking about when I brought my boyfriend home and the two of us were watching movies in the living room. Everything was going perfectly. And then you just had to ruin everything like you always do. You totally killed the vibe by walking out of your office like that. Steve won't even text or call me anymore because of you.
Gee, I'm sorry about your date, but I sort of live here, so it's not exactly unnatural for me to be home. Besides, I already told you last week I was going to be working from home from now on. So I'm not really sure what you want from me at this point, honey. Maybe you should have gone to Steve's house instead,
Well, I don't remember you saying anything like that, so clearly you must have left me out of the memo. You ought to start wearing a bell or something.
And while we're at it, could you please call me anything but old lady? I'll take mother or mom or even Rebecca. Just not that, please. We've been over this before.
Shut up. Maybe if you weren't such an old lady, Steve wouldn't have dumped me at school today.
Mara, if he broke up with you over our sour date, are you sure he was the right guy for you?
No, he broke up with me because he said you're always getting in our way and that you don't even like him. He was the hottest guy in school, and you blew it for me. Not just once, but over and over again.
All right, let's take a step back. I understand me being around the house is killing your vibe, but I've never been against Steve. He seems like a fine young man.
Maybe you're too old and senile to understand, but you've been a pain in my side at every possible moment. You always walked into my room without knocking while I was on video call with Steve. And you even called me while we were on a date at the park. I mean, who does that?
Oh, please. That was hardly anything humiliating. I was just coming up to your room to tell you dinner was ready. We always eat dinner together in this house, and you didn't respond to my text, so I simply decided to tell you in person.
Ugh, do you even realize how lame you sound right now? It's like you have no idea what my life is even like.
And as for that date at the park, you make it sound like I just interrupted you randomly, but that's not what happened at all. And do you know it? I know you think I'm going to senile, but I distinctly remember calling you because I asked you to be home by 8 and you were out past 10.
Oh my God, Mom. I'm in high school. You can seriously drop the overprotective act at this point. I'm practically an adult at this point, and you still think I'm a baby. All these roles in this curfew nonsense you come up with can go to hell for all I care.
Mara, please. That's no way to talk to anyone, let alone me. You know I only do these things because I love you very dearly.
And trust me, if you think I hate all of your roles, you should have heard what Dad said about them when you weren't around. Of course, he'd want to make time for a girlfriend that he could actually have fun with every once in a while instead of suffering with you every day.
Excuse me? Mara, how could you say such a thing about your own father?
Oops. Sorry. I guess I revealed my cards this time. Silly me. But, cat's out of the bag and all that. I know Dad's been cheating on you with a woman half his age.
You're kidding, right? Dear, please don't say things like that unless you're certain.
Oh, I've known without a doubt for almost half a year at this point. I even saw them on a date and everything.
Even if that were true, why wait this long to tell me? Surely this isn't your idea of revenge against Steve, was it?
I pretty much found out by accident. And if Dad's that bad at hiding it, I'm certain you've had suspicions of your own by now. Still, I thought it was weird that you didn't just leave him, you know? That's what most people would do if they found out they were being cheated on. Then it totally hit me. The truth is, you can't bear to live without him. Or at least his money. So you put up with him knowing he's unfaithful.
His money? I'm not some gold digger, Mara. Trust me, I'm doing just fine for myself. Not that you care to know what my work is like.
Oh, please. Dad works for some huge company, and your salary is like a fraction of his. If you left him, there's no way you can get by without moving to some crappy apartment. So you stay with him, because you care more about your status.
Look, I know you're upset about how I've treated you, and I'm sorry for that, but this is unbelievable. I'm appalled you'd paint me as some kind of money grubber.
But that's exactly what you are. You're just a sad, sad lady. Too comfortable in her current situation to accept you've been left behind by the man you love. You can't handle that your best days are behind you. And now you need to take it out on your teenage daughter, sabotaging her attempts at finding love. Only a truly sad, miserable woman like you could be so invested in taking everyone down with her.
You must be sick if you think the world actually revolves around you like that.
Well, unlike you, I'm not content to sit, rot, and cling to those around me. So I'm taking care of your divorce papers myself. No need to thank me. Your reign of terror against my life ends now. And soon I'll have you out of my hair for good.
Wait, what's this about divorce papers? You're joking, right? Are you out of your mind?
No, I'm following perfectly sound logic. You're always in my way. Dad doesn't love you, and you only exist to bother other people. I don't need you in my life at all. So, as far as I'm concerned, you can get divorced, get broke, and get lost.
Hey, I just got a message from Mara. Did she actually file for our divorce? Or is this some kind of prank?
I'm at the courthouse myself checking the paperwork, but sadly, it looks like that's the case. Everything looks correctly filled, and it's not exactly something you can just say was a joke. I don't know whether to be horrified or impressed.
Seriously, I can't believe she would do something like that. She really saved me a lot of trouble on my end. Phew!
She did what?
Man, I thought it was going to be years before I'd be able to divorce you. This is a real time saver. We raised a winner, I am telling you.
Alright, hold it. You wanted something like this to happen.
If it's not obvious, I've still been seeing Cassandra. Though I don't, you were really questioning that at this point.
Of course you are. Why am I not surprised? I was hoping you'd give up the ghost after I'd found you out, but I guess that was wishful thinking on my part, huh?
Look, I know you think I'm being seduced by some young flame, but the truth is, my feelings toward her are real. This is a serious relationship for both of us. I know it's a tough pill to swallow, but my heart tells me I need to marry her, and divorcing you is a painful step to happiness.
Okay. You want to leave me behind for the latest model? Fine by my guest, but what about Mara? How do you think she's going to cope with her father being such a shallow man? No girl should have to go through that, especially when she's this volatile already.
I mean, she clearly can't be that broken up about it if she's the one who filed those papers. On the contrary, I'd say she's all for it. If it's money or worries, don't worry. I'll pay for whatever settlement you want, seeing as you're already drawing the short straw here. Anyways, if it seems like everything's in order with the paperwork, you should head home, pack your bags, and split. I've got no need for a meddlesome ex-wife around the house.
All right, Mom. I've decided you can come home now. I'll even let you marry Dad again.
Good evening to you too. Why does this change? Or is this your cruel idea of a joke at my expense?
Well, the truth is, I owe you an apology for last week. I was acting totally out of line, like fully hysterical and all that. After Steve broke up with me, I heard from a friend that he was actually seeing a girl from another school at the same time we were dating. Talk about creepy. I actually dodged a huge bullet by having him dump me. So, I seriously owe you one. Thanks for getting him away from me, Mom.
Like I said before, that really wasn't my intention, but I'll take any kind words you have for me, I suppose.
You're so humble. Give yourself a little credit. You're a lifesaver. You can say you didn't know any better, but I think deep down, you're valiantly protecting your daughter from an evil, untrustworthy man. So, thank you. That's the kind of love and support I can only get from my dear mother. Now, come home so we can be a family again.
I'm very flattered that you think so highly of me all of a sudden, but I'm not just going to get undivorced because you want me to. You told me yourself that all I do is make things harder for you and that you wanted nothing to do with me, remember?
Yeah, but like I said, I was totally out of line. I was just going through the stuff and I snapped and took it out on you. I'm really broken up about it. And I would take everything back if I had a time machine. Plus, I really don't want to live with Dad anymore, okay?
Why is that? Did you get in a shouting match with him too?
More like a boxing match. We were practically at each other's throats last night.
Oh my God, what happened? Are you all right? Did he hurt you?
Well, it started when he suddenly told me he was cutting my allowance, and I got all pissed off at him. And when I tried to ask him why, he told me to get a job.
Why would he say something like that?
Hell if I know. It probably has something to do with the fact that you were doing our family's finances, apparently. I wish I'd known that before I told you to scram. Is what Dad told me about you true? Are you actually making double his salary? I thought your company was tiny. And what about some huge summer bonus? Did they really pay you 10 grand or something?
First, the divorce papers. Now you want to know about our finances and my bonus? You're becoming a regular detective, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. I distinctly remember you not paying any attention to where our money came from up until now. Well, if it means I'm not getting any money from you guys, of course I need to pay attention.
I just started looking at receipts and our tax returns, and it started to click for me. Dad works for that big company, but he's just some rank-and-file grunt. He hasn't been promoted in years, and at this rate, that's not going to change anytime soon.
Tell me something I don't know.
Anyway, that's when I realized you're a total girl boss, and you're just too cool to show it around me, you know? The place you work at is a small fry company, but you've been climbing the corporate ladder like crazy. You're nothing like Dad. You're some kind of big shot.
You could say that, sure. I'm not totally sure what a girl boss is, but if you're wondering who's been putting food on the table, hell, who's been paying for the mortgage, that would be me.
Yeah, that's why the house isn't a total disarray without you. I need you here to keep things afloat. Seriously. If I can't even get Dad to give me a little spending money, there's no way I'm going to make it through college without a scholarship or some student loans. I mean, what kind of father is willing to bury his own daughter in debt?
Your father, apparently. Good luck figuring things out with him, Mara.
I can't figure things out with him. That's why I'm texting you in the first place. Please, come home already and make things right, Mom. Besides, you don't really want to be on the moon right now, do you? That sounds pretty depressing to me, at least. If you come back, the three of us can be a happy family again. Just like old times.
A happy family? Is that what we were?
Okay. I know it hasn't always been peachy between us, and you're probably still furious at how Dad and I treated you. But think about me. I'm your kid. How am I supposed to grow up, be well-adjusted, and have a normal life if I don't have my mother in my life? For your lovely daughter's sake, won't you remarry Dad?
And just how do you expect me to marry him when he's already married to someone else?
Someone else?
Even if I were to remarry him, not that I would in a million years after what he's done. Hendrik has already moved on and tied the knot.
Wait, what are you talking about? He hasn't told me anything like that.
Interesting. You live together and yet he keeps secrets from you? That sounds a little familiar, doesn't it? And here I thought he would have worked up the courage to take you to meet your new family by now.
My new family?
You remember your father's affair, don't you? What I'm saying, of course you do. You seem to relish in dangling that nasty bit of drama over me last week. I heard from an acquaintance down at the courthouse that he and that young lady tied the knot. No fancy reception, just official paperwork, naturally.
Hang on. He already married that chick? But you guys, just got divorced.
He told me himself they were quite the committed relationship. In fact, he was quite ecstatic that you got his divorce, as I recall. If these feelings were as serious as you say, don't you think it makes sense he got married to her as soon as he could?
Sure, I guess. But he's moving way too fast. Can you talk some sense into him?
I think he's moved on from me, honey. Incidentally, that new wife of his? A little bird told me she has 4 kids from a previous marriage, of course. Play nice with your new brothers and sisters, okay, Mara? I'm sure you'll be a great role model to them, seeing how old and independent you are.
Oh, come on. What was that thinking about cheating with a lady who has kids?
What's odd about that? He's a father too, obviously.
Yeah, but I'm an only child, and I'm almost an adult. I can't live with 4 other kids. That's just crazy talk.
Them's the break, dear. I can't marry him again, nor do I particularly want to. So please don't try to push it any further. There's nothing I can do, I'm afraid. If you really want to do something about your situation, talk to your father, okay?
No way. I grilled Dad about it, and he really did marry that Cassandra lady. Not only does she have 4 kids already, she's been pregnant for 4 months with another. And this time, it's his.
My. The man couldn't wait to divorce me before he knocked her up, could he? I guess it's true what they say. Love makes us do crazy things.
Her kids are all way younger than me. And now I'm babysitting them all the time. This sucks so much. Worst of all, Dad's crummy salary can't feed all of these brats. So I need to get a job to make ends meet.
Phew, sounds like you've got quite a bit on your plate. It isn't easy being the woman of the house, but if you're anything like me, you'll get used to it in no time.
I'm not getting used to anything. You hear me? This is not what I signed up for. If I knew it was going to be like this, I never would have kicked you out. Please, Mom, you've got to let me move in with you instead. I'm begging you.
Sorry, but no can do. I'm not saving you from this, Mara. You dug this hole for yourself, now you have to climb out of it. The thought of us living together chills down my spine after what you did to me. You called me a girl boss, right? Think of this as just business, that's all.
What? What are you talking about? Are you seriously just going to disown me or forsake me or something?
Point of order. You're the one who disowned me in the first place. Like I said, you dug it yourself. You gotta climb out of it yourself. Take care, darling.
Okay, Rebecca, name your price. I'll do whatever it takes, but please, I'm begging you, take Mara off my hands.
That's the Hendrik I know, crawling back to me when his plans blow up in his face. I could have sworn you told me recently we'd raised a winner. When was that? Oh yes, when she filed for our divorce on your behalf. That's right. So, get to it. What did you do this time?
Look, I said she did me a solid, and I stand by that. But I'm at my limit with her. I thought everything was going well when I got Cassandra and her kids to move into the place. But Mara's gone ballistic. Seriously, she's lost all respect for me. And now it's like trying to deal with a feral house cat every time I talk to her.
Our daughter is uncontrollable and demented? Who could have predicted that?
I was hoping for a lively, happy house with all these kids running around. But Mara's fully rejected the idea and is terrorizing us. I'm talking throwing things, yelling, screaming, getting into fights with her siblings. She's a monster!
A monster, huh? She didn't get that from me, I can tell you that much.
Trust me, she's beyond reason. You have no idea how many times I've tried to apologize to her, only for her to call me a broke old geezer.
Now you know how I feel.
The point is, I can take all the punishment in the world. But for Cassandra and the kids' sake, this has to stop. My wife is legitimately scared of Mara. And the kids are on the verge of being completely traumatized or seriously injured. You're the only one here who can handle her, and I gave you practically every last cent of savings in the settlement. So please, do something.
You definitely paid a pretty penny to get rid of me, that's for certain.
That's why I'm asking you to save us, just this once. She talks about you all the time. I know it'll be much happier if we just played along with her game one last time.
I heard it from her myself, and I turned her down already. Sorry. I'm my own woman from now on, and you two are fully in my rear view at this point. Besides, you've got a baby on the way, so I say you focus on the future, right? Anyways, good luck taking care of Mara. She's a handful now, but I'm sure she'll smooth that into a fine young woman someday.
At the rate this is going, Cassandra will leave me well before that happens. Alright, fine. You won't take Mara to live with you. I get it. How about instead, we become a family again?
You're kidding me, right? I know I said you were crawling back to me, but you want to marry me again? Is that it?
Yes, I'm on my knees. I'll never ask you for anything ever again. But please, let's just go back to the way things were, okay?
Listen to yourself, Hendrik. What are you going to do? Divorce Cassandra so you can marry me after you divorced me so you can marry her and have your happy little sitcom family? Sounds like a bad joke you hear at a party. Get a grip, why don't you?
Don't get me wrong. I was really happy when Cassandra and I were able to be together. But raising 5 kids under one roof? It's turning out to be a lot harder than I thought.
Oh, is it now?
I mean, the kids are pretty young right now, so we're managing just fine. But once they become teenagers, I don't know if I'm going to be able to support them financially, let alone emotionally. If they're anything like Mara, that is. Everything was so much easier with you, Rebecca. I never worried about anything like this, and you always had my back.
Easier for you, maybe. Do you think I'm sitting here fondly reminiscing about doing our finances and taking care of Mara while you cheated on me? You were coasting through life thanks to me, and yet I still wasn't enough for you, apparently.
Look, Cassandra's already turning on me. I'm sure we'll split up before too long. So if I'm single again, you'll take me back, won't you?
I hope she does leave you, so you can have some time alone to reflect on what you've done. You're insane if you think I'd ever get back with you, Hendrik.
Please, you can't do this to me.
I can, and I will. Do me a favor and don't ever bother me again with this kind of stupid text, okay? The next time it happens, I'll be giving your boss a call, and you can bet he's going to hear more than my 2 cents on the matter.
You wouldn't go that far, would you? I know it's been rough, but please, you know this job is all I have.
It's not like you'll ever be up for promotion anyways, but still, I'm sure you wouldn't want your superiors breathing down your neck, right? I can't imagine they'd want to keep someone around who's been caught harassing his ex-wife. I know I certainly wouldn't. Now, lose my number and forget I exist, because you won't ever see a single red cent from me ever again. After that last exchange of barbs, I never heard from Hendrik again. I would feel bad for his sinking ship of a life if you hadn't tried to take me down with him. From what I heard, Mara's demonic behavior was so bad that Cassandra ended up divorcing him to no one's surprise. Still, when she left, that joker was now saddled with paying child support for the baby she was expecting. He'd already blown most of his life savings on settling with me, so I'm surprised she managed to squeeze any money out of him, but I'm sure he's flat out broke now. Interestingly, our daughter's condition didn't actually improve much after Cassandra took her kids and left. Hendrik blamed Mara for his newfound poverty, and Mara in turn saw him as the one who pushed me out of their lives. It seems fitting that the 2 people who couldn't take responsibility would end up locked in a battle of shifting blame, unable to move on from their mistakes. I think after all the hell they've given me, let alone each other, they deserve to suffer together, and I'll be glad to never see or hear from them again.